Hi everyone, this is Selena Kraus and welcome to another card video. Today I'm featuring the new October 2021 My Monthly Hero kit, and this month's theme is Victorian Christmas. So we're going to create a little shadow box card that fits in a standard A2 size envelope. So let's get started. Let's first take a look at the kit. So there are the coordinating dies for the images that come in the set. The stamp set is 6x8 large stamp set. And also we have a cover die that is like window toy store front. And it's super fun. We're gonna use it for the shadow box card. So here's a quick look of a three-fold card that I had on my blog on Saturday for the countdown. So for this one, I created the window. For the window, I added acetate sheets. They're also bio uh, I can't pronounce it right now, but biodegradable acetate sheets that come in the kit. So let's take a look at the add-ons. First, this is the patina kit. Like there's a little turquoise ink cube in there and a brass embossing powder. So we have several sets with coordinating dies. We have the Christmas carolers, we have Victorian ice skaters, Victorian Christmas messages. That's the little 3x4 stamp sets. We have standalone dies. I'll have all those linked in this post on the description and the names for all of them. This is the Winter Express bold prints. We have also the gift shop background cling that coordinates with our Peekaboo dies and the gear clock bold prints. So let's get started. I have two pieces of cardstock, Nautical and Dove White. They're cut to 5¼ by 5½. So we're gonna create when this card folds, it will be standard A2 card. So we have that 5¼ edge, and we're gonna score at 1¼ from the left and then 1½, and we're gonna do the same on the other side. So because we have 5¼ so we're gonna score at 5 and then at 4¾ so that section in the middle will measure 4¼ wide by 5½ tall. So I already have two pieces here. What we're gonna do now is score. I have my scoring tool. I'm gonna score it at 1/4 on both sides, and I'm gonna score at half. We're gonna fold those. So we're gonna have a mountain and a valley fold. Since we're gonna adhere on that outside tab, we're gonna add some strong adhesive. I'll be using a double-sided tape, but you can use any adhesive of your choice. I find that double-sided tape is great for this kind of cards. You can also, if you want these cards to be more like deep, like to add more elements inside, if you want more dimension, instead of a 5¼ you can add another ½ inch. So that will make 5¾ and then you're gonna score at half and then 1 inch of each side. I'm repeating the same thing on the Dove White piece, so I'm scoring at 1/4 and 1½ a half, and then at 5 and 3¾ again. I'm folding those. First I'm doing a mountain fold, then a valley fold. So we're gonna adhere at those outside part like tabs here, as you can see. Okay, gonna fold it to the other side, and I'm using my bone folder Teflon tool to burnish that, like kind of make those fold lines nice and crisp. So there we have kind of the base for our shadow box card. So the background die comes with a frame and just the inside, so we're not going to use the frame, we're just going to use the inside, and we're going to cut that front of the nautical piece. I'm kind of securing that with some washi tape, and also because this cuts a lot of holes, to reinforce that front piece, I will cut another piece of that white cardstock to adhere on the back. So we have those two, and you can see here how they line up. So before I adhere the dove white piece in the nautical, I will stamp the sentiment. I just wanted to mention that the dove white piece measures 4¼ by 5½. We don't need to score the tabs because that will make it more difficult for this card to fold. You can also trim a little bit of the side so it fits more better on the back side, because those fold lines on the sides kind of for a little tiny bit narrow that 4¼ piece. So if you trim a little bit, just a sliver from the left and the right, you will be great. So I'm stamping with the clear embossing and watermark ink. I stamped Merry Christmas. This stamp comes in the stamp set, and I'm using some detailed white embossing powder to apply to the stamped image, and I will just heat set it now. Okay, I think that's done. I'm just wiping off the excess of that anti-static powder. So we'll adhere those two together, and if I show, as I showed you in that 3-fold card, I had acetate in between. If you want to reinforce that front part even more, you can add acetate between the dove white frame and the nautical frame, or you can add another dove white piece. I'm just lining those up to make sure that we don't see any white when we look from the front. Okay, I think that's good. I'm just adding some acrylic blocks on top to make sure that it dries nice and straight and flat. Okay, now we can move to stamping the elements that will go inside our shadow box. I'll be using the tree, the rocking horse, and the presents, and I will stamp them on hot press watercolor paper. I will use the Intens-ified black ink, and while the ink is still dry, I will apply the clear ultra fine embossing powder. So I'm applying first the anti-static powder tool, lining those stamps up so they fit on that piece of watercolor paper. And then I will stamp with black ink. I want to be pretty intense black, kind of nice and saturated black, so I'm using the Intens-ified black ink. I'm just stamping a few times, and that allows more ink to apply and slows down the drying time of the ink a little bit. So it gives us a little bit more time to apply that embossing powder. Okay, now we'll go with my heat tool and melt that embossing powder. Okay, I think that looks good. Now I'm using my Karin watercolor brush pro markers to color my images. I'm doing some basic coloring, so I'll speed up a little bit and skip parts, so you're not watching me color here for half an hour. I'm just adding colors, and then I'm using the blending marker that comes in the set to blend those colors and create kind of from darker to lighter effect of the color. So I'm just first coloring the ornaments, and because our image is embossed, this gives us little borders around all the images, so it kind of helps with the coloring and keeping those colors contained, even if we don't let every area dry before we apply more color to the area next to it. So I'm just coloring the tree here. I'm going to speed up. Okay, I'm just finishing the horse and we have all the images colored. I'm using the coordinating dies that come in the kit to die cut those 3 images. So there we have the images, and now we can start assembling our card. So I'm just going to reinforce those, kind of redefine those fold lines. So that will go like that. I'm just trying to position everything. That looks good there, and the little horse there, and the ornaments, I'll put them on the front of the frame. I'll be using some foam tape to adhere the tree, but before we adhere the tree, I decided to ink blend some Butterbark bar shadow ink on the inside, kind of to reflect some light inside the house, to mimic light inside the house. I think that looks good, and we're going to put the little horse there. So for the horse, I will use some acetate, and I will add it between the front and the back piece on that tab that we're going to use to adhere both pieces together. So this one will create a little bit more dimension and a little bit of interactive effect when you move the card. When you collapse it or spread it, that rocking horse will move left to right and opposite. So I added some foam tape back on the back of the tree, and I'll add that to the left. And then we're going to do that acetate sheet. I'm just kind of strip, it's not sheet anymore, and I just trim part of it, since the back of the horse it's a little bit nearer than the back of it. So we don't need to, so we're not, the acetate sheet is not visible on behind the horse. We'll just see it on the back, where that strip goes back and forth, and it's adhered to that tab in the middle. I'm just adding some of those double-sided tape strips on the horse, where that acetate tab will go. Just gonna start adhering from the left side, and then once that's adhered, we can add the horse with the tab and adhere the right side. I'm just gonna line those up. Make sure that it's nice and adhered. Okay, I think that looks good. Now I'm gonna remove that backing of the tape, and I'm using my grid here to make sure that it's adhered straight to the acetate tab. I'm adding more double-sided tape on back of that horse. Also, I die cut another piece of the rocking horse that I will put on the back, so we hide that all the adhesive and the acetate on the back, and it kind of also gives a little bit more sturdiness to the image. So, okay, we have that there. Now we're just gonna adhere it to the side. I'm pressing on top so it's adheres securely, and I put another piece of tape on top of that acetate tab, and I trim off the excess of the acetate from the right side. Now I'm lining it up, those tabs. So there's our shadow box card. And then I will use a little bit more foam tape to adhere the presents on the front of the card. So there's a lot of dimension, but it still fits in a A2 size envelope. You can see the card can stand up, or you can fold it and put it in an envelope. So let me just grab an envelope. I just wanted to show you quickly. When you collapse it like that, it fits perfectly into that A2 size envelope. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel for more ideas and more inspiration. Thanks for watching. Bye!